Hi everyone, welcome back. Thank you for joining me today. So as we continue to explore some different abstract art techniques, I'm going to take you down on my surface area, show you the colour palette and show you the tools that I'm going to create. And let me know if you're enjoying this too. So let's see what we can create. So I'm still using some acrylic paper, and as you can see I've taped off the edges. I've got a couple of balloons. I'm going to do some balloon dips. I've got a cup and I've got some marbles. So this one is really about the balloon dips. So I've got my balloons and I've got my paint and I've also got some marbles, but I'll come on to that later. So I'm going to place some paint on my palette board. And I'm going to take one colour at a time and I'm going to dip the balloon in each colour and balloon dip onto the paper. This is about layering your paints, creating some depth and creating some different tones of colour onto your surface area. So I'm literally dipping the balloon in the paint and then placing that balloon onto the surface area. In this case, it's the acrylic paper. And as you go through this process, you will see each time you dip your balloon onto your page, it's creating different texture and different tones of that colour. Some of the colour is a lot stronger because you got more paint on the balloon, but each time you dip, more paint from the balloon will transfer from the balloon onto the surface area. And it's about building up those different tones and those textures on the page itself. And as you continue dipping your balloon from the paint onto the page, using the different colours, the balloon then becomes a really useful tool to help blend those colours together. By dipping the balloon within each of those colours, transferring that colour across the page, infusing those paints and those tones can be blended well with the balloon. I always find when I'm creating and evolving as an artist and just exploring my creativity, I like to just try different things. So today I've just put a little bit of black paint into a cup and I'm throwing some marbles into the cup and I'm swirling those marbles around in that cup so the paint transfers from the cup onto the marbles. I'm going to tip those marbles out onto some kitchen roll and some paper towel and then just drop the marbles onto the page and whiz them around before I lose control of those marbles and they fall everywhere. But I've created some lines and I've transferred some of that paint onto the page. And sometimes it's just about enjoying that process rather than thinking, well, I could have just poured some black paint onto the page itself. I could have, but it's also about creating those lines and really feeling the materials that you use. So I'm going back to my balloon and I'm literally balloon dipping the paint that's now already on that canvas across the page itself. This is about creating darker areas and lighter areas. That's about creating different tones within the colours that you've already got. So I'm now adding some white on top. And I'm going to use my balloon to blend in all of those colours. I'm not going to muddy those colours, but I'm just using the balloon to dip on and off the page as I go, creating different textures, but you can see there's different tones within this piece. And then I add some gold on top. And it's about that balance of light and dark. And it's about those balance of tones as well. And using the balloon to really blend those colours together. I think I'm done with this piece. I absolutely love it. And I'm actually now thinking that I would want to do this on a much larger scale. So I'm going to remove my edges. So I'm going to take off the masking tape that I placed on right at the beginning. That creates a border or a frame for this piece. I will let it dry, and then I'm going to take you in just so you can see all the different textures and the depth to this piece that we've created by using the balloon. So here we go. So this is still the wet version. It doesn't take long for these pieces to dry because we're not using huge volumes of fluid paint on top. We're still using fluid paint, but as you can see, it's gonna dry pretty quickly because that volume of paint isn't there that I'd normally use in a pouring piece. But you can see how all those different colours have worked together. There's depth to this piece because we started off and we layered colours on top of each other and blended those colours in with the balloon. So I'm going to let this dry and I'll show you the dried version now. So here we go. So this is the dry version. The blues have dried slightly darker, which is great, but I really love the gold that was on top because I think that just helps with the perspective and the dimension of the depth and movement of this piece. And the balloon itself has created some really interesting patterns on top too. So I'm really happy with this. And as I said, I think I want to do this again, but on a much larger scale. So let me know what you think, guys. I really hope you're enjoying this. I really hope you're enjoying this series of just exploring art, exploring your creativity, and how we can create different abstract pieces of art using some simple techniques and tools along the way. I hope I get to see you again in the next video. Have a great week, everyone. Take care of yourself, be kind to each other, and I'll see you soon. Bye.